Day 2 of Wrestlemania has come to an end, and the show itself has come to an end. Very, very surprising. Day 2 lived up to the hype of Day 1. Which one was better? I'll leave that question up to you guys. What's up, everybody? It's the Sports Guide, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be about the Day 2 review. A lot of matches. This Day 2 was almost an hour longer, and it was very good. It lived up to the hype. A couple of things that were probably mistakes, but majority of the time I had a blast watching this one. So again, if you didn't watch my last video, I gave a thank you to WWE for making a very tough decision but ending up going through with it in these difficult times. A lot of people are saying that it was very irresponsible for WWE to put WrestleMania on despite this coronavirus pandemic. However, a lot of these matches, if not all of these matches, were pre-recorded long before, and I know it was still at a time where they probably shouldn't have done it, but if you're worrying about doing it at this time, these matches weren't live, so I guess in a way that kind of solves the problem, but it wasn't probably the best idea on their part, but they did it. They stuck through with it. Hopefully not everyone got out of there unscathed, and everyone is doing very, very well, and we'll get right into it really. So please like, subscribe if you enjoyed Day 2 of WrestleMania, and let me know what was your favorite match in WrestleMania Part 2. So we'll start off with the first match, and I don't know, for some reason, I don't know if my WWE network is glitched or it just didn't show up, but apparently Liv Morgan versus Natalya, I didn't get to see this match. I don't know why, and I really liked the two competitors in the match. But Liv Morgan ended up winning the match. As I said, I didn't watch it, so I'm not going to comment on if it was a good or bad match. But I'm glad to see Liv Morgan is getting some recognition, because I think they had plans for her, and those plans hopefully will be fulfilled within the next few months to a year, or however long it takes. So it's good to see that Liv Morgan is winning matches at least, and a big win on WrestleMania. That's something you can't take lightly. Now, the first match that I did see, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. Before I get started on this match, I have to say, all the women in this show absolutely killed it. Like, there was not one bad match from them, and you can't tell me they're not equals anymore when they're pretty much stealing the show on a regular basis. So, yeah, we'll continue. I'm a big fan of these two, and Rhea Ripley is a very special individual. The result kind of shook me a bit, but I can kind of see where they're going with this. Hopefully I can see where they're going with this. This match was very intense, very brutal, a lot of attacking the knees for both of them, and they had some trash talk again between the two. It was pretty much a battle of the submissions really, but I know that Rhea Ripley hit the riptide very early in the match, and Charlotte kicked out. Eventually, after wearing the leg for a very, very long time, Charlotte Flair locked on the figure 8. Gruesome, very, very painful. Rhea Ripley sold it like a champ, and she eventually tapped out. Charlotte Flair is the new NXT Women's Champion. Now, this surprises me on many levels, because a lot of... it's just one of those things where you didn't expect this. You expected Rhea Ripley to win this match, and as much as I would say I had a problem with it, I think the match itself was really good, so I can kind of see why they made Charlotte win, and hopefully Rhea Ripley can win it back, or maybe Rhea Ripley goes into the main roster. I feel a little bit sorry for Rhea Ripley here, because at the end of the day, that was a WrestleMania debut. She's versing pretty much the best women's wrestler in the world, if not one of the best wrestlers in the world, and it's no shame in losing to Charlotte Flair, but I feel like it wasn't necessary, to be honest. But nevertheless, I'm not going to complain over a very solid match between two competitors that I really enjoy watching, and one of them beating the other. It's just, I'm happy that Charlotte Flair won, and I'm sad that Rhea Ripley lost. It's just one of those top things. You like both competitors, and you're happy but sad at the same time. It is what it is, and I'm excited to see what's going to be the future for Charlotte Flair. Is she going to stay on NXT permanently, or is she going to be on Raw? That's interesting, and I hope she stays on NXT. Make the brand the best it could possibly be. And there's any brand that has Charlotte Flair is a very good brand. So we'll see what happens with that. Next match, Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. Lana was also in the corner of Bobby Lashley as expected. Bobby Lashley had a new kit, looked pretty solid to me. And this match was very standard, very average. There wasn't much to this match except there was a brutal spot with a belly-to-belly suplex on outside. That was pretty bad. Like that was that, and you could hear the sound. Like it looked gruesome. But the match itself, it was pretty short, to be honest. It was a very standard match at best. And in the end, Aleister Black beat Bobby Lashley, and I think that's what everybody expected here, to be honest. And you can't really complain about it at all, because how could you not push Aleister Black during this time? I think that's it's clear and obvious about that. How could you not push? How can you not push Aleister Black? Bobby Lashley, I'm still very, very shocked at how he's being treated, to be honest. He should be competing up there with the champions like Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. However, it just hasn't been the case. And I think that he's been misused completely, and he has the potential to be at that level. But again, potential is being wasted, and I feel very, very bad for him. But against Aleister Black, I can't complain having a loss here, because everybody loves Aleister Black, and he too has potential to be up there with the best, with the champions, and very, very soon. So with Bobby Lashley, maybe a move, maybe a trade to a different brand would really help Bobby Lashley, to be honest. Put Bobby Lashley on SmackDown. I don't know. It's a tough one. I just feel like he's being wasted. I really, truly do. Anyway, next up, everybody's lovable guy, Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. The love triangle of love triangles, or the foursome. I don't know what to call this, to be honest, but it was a love triangle for sure between Mandy Rose, Otis, and Dolph Ziggler. And we finally got the ending, the happy ending everybody wanted. Now, before I say the winner of this match, I have to say the surprise that Sonya Deville was the one behind all of this. The reason why Dolph Ziggler got a date with Mandy Rose and Otis felt pretty much left behind was not really surprising. But again, very good storytelling, and it ended up having a very decent outcome. The match itself was pretty average as well. It wasn't the greatest of matches, but I think everybody really enjoyed the ending here, with Mandy Rose coming out, hitting her former teammate in Fire and Desire, Sonya Deville, and beating her up, going into the ring, low blowing Dolph Ziggler, and Otis ends up doing his worm, and he gets the victory. And they walk off together in the sunset. So yeah, look, it's outstanding to see an ending like that, because this is the type of feud that we wanted from Lana, Bobby Lashley, and Rusev, and we didn't get. And I feel like this one was taken better. The fans reacted to it a lot better than the Rusev and Lana and Bobby Lashley, even though that one probably felt more real than this one. This one definitely had a better reaction to it, and I feel like they've seen it through. I don't think we need to go more into this rivalry. Otis has the girl, and he wins the match at WrestleMania. I think we can leave it at that, and they can continue on their journey together, and maybe the future breakup down the line or not. Who knows? Anything can happen here. But yeah, solid stuff. Next up, the last man standing match between Edge and Randy Orton. Emotions running wild. Edge and Randy Orton pretty much battled any way you could possibly think of in the Performance Center. Offices, the backstage, on a bus. Incredible stuff. And this match did start off fairly slow, but the RKO really kind of got things going, but then it kind of slowed down a bit, became more methodical. Just a lot of moves happening within like five minutes, and then it slows down, the pace is done, then they're moving around to the next place they're going to fight. But eventually, I just want to get to the ending here, because the match was very long. But I also recommend to go watch this match, because if you want to see the best of Edge, especially in his the storytelling is all in the eyes, really. especially with someone like Edge. You could tell how someone's feeling, how someone's emotion, someone's it's like the wheels are turning in their head, and you could tell from their eyes and their face how they're feeling. And Edge did a fantastic job in doing that. I like picking up on these small things. It's not necessarily a small thing, I'm sure other people picked up on it as well, but it really brings more to a match that you could possibly ask for. Because if there was no emotion in this match, I'd say it was pretty mediocre, but this match was good because of the storytelling between the two. They have great chemistry together, and we'll get to the end. They're on top of the bus. Randy Orton tried to punt Edge. Edge ends up spearing him. Randy Orton gets the upper hand, and he going for the concerto. And that's the final. That's obviously going to be the final move here. But as soon as Randy Orton goes for it, Edge, being the tactician he is, puts Randy Orton in his submission hold. I don't know what it's called. It's similar to a sleeper, just on its side. Puts Randy Orton down. The concerto, Edge gets the chairs with the emotion running wild. It almost looked like he wasn't going to do it. He was going to let him go, but he finally did it. He hit him with the concerto. Last man standing winner is Edge. It counts to 10. He pretty much hugs Randy Orton while Randy Orton was lying there unconscious or barely saying anything, and then almost cries. He starts crying, and it shows. That's what I mean by storytelling. No one can just tell a story better than Edge, in my opinion. One of the best storytelling matches on the show, especially in the arena as well, because there were others that were just insane as well. We'll get to that later. And here's something I didn't mention in the last video: the 24/7 championship. Now, for anybody that actually cares, R-Truth was pretty much having an interview with Gronk and Mojo Rawley in day one. Mojo Rawley beat R-Truth for the 24/7 championship after pulling Gronk away. And in this show, Mojo Rawley's just running around with a bunch of people attacking him. Gronk was on the pedestal above, jumps on them, pins Mojo Rawley. Gronk is the new 24/7 champion. Again, you're pretty much disrespecting the entire roster by having Gronk being the 24/7 champion, but it is what it is. I don't really care much about this. It was very, very short. It wasn't really entertaining, and I think if there were fans there, they'll probably boo. But I don't know. That was just. I don't know. It was there. We'll move on very quickly from that one. Next up, we have Garza and Theory versus the Street Profits. This match occurred due to an Andrade injury, the United States champion, so they put those two into a match against the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team titles. This match was alright, it was pretty good, but again, nothing too memorable in this match. These athletes are very, very good at what they do, so at the end of the day, you kind of would have predicted this would have been a decent match, and it was a decent match. It was a pretty good match, which ended up in the Street Profits beating Garza and Theory, which ended up in a beatdown. And then in the beatdown, Zelina Vega got involved, kicking him in the face, and Bianca Belair comes to the apron to save her boyfriend or husband. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure it's her husband, and they celebrate together, the Street Profits and Bianca Belair. Those are the winners of the match. Fantastic ending. It's good to see Bianca Belair get onto WrestleMania. That was a key moment as well. And I think she rightfully deserves to be on WrestleMania, to be fair. She's one of the best women's wrestlers out there. Then, obviously, we got Titus O'Neil being the new host due to Gronk running away with the title. It was good to see Titus O'Neil. I think Titus O'Neil is a very strong spokesperson for WWE, and that's why he probably deserves to be on WrestleMania at any given WrestleMania, because of how strong of a spokesperson he is to the company. So fair enough. I didn't have a problem with this at all. Next up, we have the Fatal 5-Way. It was Fatal 5-Way, I believe. Let me see if I can get all these without looking. So you obviously had Sasha Banks, you had Naomi, you had Lacey Evans, you had Tamina, and obviously the SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. This match was good. Once again, the women killed it in this match. I find it hard to believe that every single time there's an elimination match, Tamina gets eliminated pretty much first, no matter how good she looks. I think they need to change that. Eventually, let someone else get eliminated first. It's okay. So I think eventually everyone just started attacking Tamina. After it was a little bit before she got eliminated, but eventually everybody just jumped on top of her when she was down and got the 3 count. Tamina gets eliminated. Then they started to team up on Naomi, and Naomi put up a hell of a fight, but eventually she tapped out and Naomi's eliminated. So it's between Lacey Evans, Sasha Banks, and Bayley, and this is when it gets interesting because Bayley and Sasha Banks, a few mistakes happened in which Sasha Banks got taken out, and there's a little bit of cracks in the friendship there, and Bayley went to work to Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans came back, went for the women's right. Sasha Banks, Bayley tried to push Sasha Banks out of the way, but ends up throwing her into a women's right. Sasha Banks is eliminated, and Bayley didn't help, didn't try and break it up. Very interesting stuff there. Like I said, the crack in the friendships. But eventually, down the line, after a few good minutes of wrestling between Lacey Evans and Bayley, Sasha Banks comes to the aid of her best friend Bayley, and Bayley retains the SmackDown Women's Championship. The longest reigning champion is still the longest reigning SmackDown champion. Very, very impressive. It was a very good match. I think everybody played a very good part in this, but the storytelling is the most important here. We've finally seen cracks in their friendship. Is it going to be something they're going to capitalize on? Is this the seeds being planted into what could ultimately be a very good rivalry between these two that we didn't get a few years ago? It's very interesting to see. There was also a mistake here I want to talk about with the commentary, and this shows that a lot of these matches were pre-recorded and put on at different times. Michael Cole said that Bayley was the only SmackDown Raw, only person to win the SmackDown Raw and NXT Women's Championships. And if you actually watched Wrestlemania, that match was after Charlotte versus Ripley, which Charlotte wins and became the NXT Women's Championship. So this just shows it's a mistake. What Michael Cole probably should have said is that Bayley was the first, not the only. And it just shows that there was a mistake there that they didn't see, or they just didn't think it was that big of a deal. But I think at the end of the day, this just shows that a lot of these matches were put on at different times, but WWE adjusted it to which matches they think would be better, which is completely fine. But if that was to happen, I don't think you should have mentioned anything like this, because you just kind of expose yourself into doing that. It's not a big deal. I just wanted to point out the mistake, because at the end of the day, it was a pretty bad mistake. We just saw Charlotte beat Rhea Ripley. Then you have Michael Cole saying Bayley was the only one to win all three, when it's just not true. But besides that, look, that's just a small mistake. It's a bad one, but it is small, and it didn't affect how I felt about the match at all. It was a very good match. And the next match, this one was crazy, absolutely crazy. I have to bring up this match because I don't know what was happening. Alright, so this was John Cena versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt. John Cena comes onto the set, doing his normal entrance, and all of a sudden it cuts to the Firefly Funhouse, which John Cena was there, and Bray Wyatt was daring him to open the door and into, I guess, the Funhouse. And we saw some crazy things. Pretty much we saw John Cena go through every phase of his career, and also some ridiculous phases of the past where he was never in. So you saw John Cena as his rookie self, walking up to Kurt Angle or Bray Wyatt at this point, just keep screaming with ruthless aggression, with Bray Wyatt pretty much mocking him the entire time. You got to see John Cena in an old Saturday Night Main Event promo, where he's basically just flexing and screaming about muscles, and it was almost like a spell that John Cena was trying to break, and it was all a mind game of a match. It wasn't really a match, it was just mind games, and he kept getting put into situations where he just couldn't win in the end. And we'll keep going. He came out to his rapper Thugonomics, John Cena spitting bars and pretty good bars as well, and Bray Wyatt, you know, being the mind reader that he is, basically tried to manipulate John Cena into feeling bad. John Cena didn't. Ended up going into another thing where they mentioned the match 6 years ago at WrestleMania when John Cena won, and how Bray Wyatt is going to fix that legacy that John Cena made for him. And it also went to NWO for some reason. I don't know why any of this happened, but it was really entertaining to watch. I wouldn't say it was better than the Undertaker match, but this was so weird, and it was fun, and I think that's what WWE is all about. It's about being entertained. That was a very entertaining match. In the end, John Cena thought he got Bray Wyatt. He started punching him down. He ended up punching the pig. I'm not sure if that pig's still alive, but the Fiend comes, takes down John Cena, and that's the winner. The Fiend is the winner. I'm not really sure if Bray Wyatt being the referee counts, but in the end, the Fiend is the winner. And this was... go watch this match. I can't explain it more. You need to go see this match yourself. Find it any way you can. It was incredible. It was truly creative. It was very, very weird, strange, but rather entertaining to watch. And I think John Cena did fantastically well in his role as in this match, as did Bray Wyatt. Of course, it's Bray Wyatt's match. Of course, it would be phenomenal in his own match. And finally, last but not least, the WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, this match, by the way, it's pretty much exactly the same as the Braun Strowman match, Braun Strowman versus Bill Goldberg match. Basically started off, Drew McIntyre hits a Claymore, Brock Lesnar kicks out, he gets the upper hand, does some suplexes, F5s him 3 times, and Drew McIntyre kicks out. And Drew McIntyre gets the upper hand, Claymore, another Claymore, and another Claymore, and picks up the win. And Drew McIntyre's the WWE champion. This match, I sort of expected this as well, but I don't know. I feel like this match deserved more. But at the end of the day, the right person won this match, as did in the Universal title match. The matches itself might not be great, and it could be very, very underwhelming. But at the end of the day, we finally get rightful champions that can actually stay here, and hopefully we don't see another Brock Lesnar championship match for a while. I really like Brock Lesnar. I have to say it. I like Brock Lesnar. I like Goldberg. I like them coming and returning. I just think they need to stay away from the main title for a little bit. Because at the end of the day, as much as prestigious as the titles are when those two athletes are holding them, we barely get to see these titles defended. And it's just, as a champion, when you're looking at a pay-per-view like Extreme Rules, Money in the Bank, maybe a Hell in a Cell or a TLC, I want to see these titles defended at those shows. I don't want to see the WWE title just defended on SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and WrestleMania, and the Royal Rumble. I don't want to see that. I want to see these titles defended in every pay-per-view. I want to see good matches. I want to see up-and-coming talent get these matches and put up a fight, and there's some unexpected wins. And I hope we get to see a little bit more of that whenever WWE decides to make another pay-per-view. That was WrestleMania. I'm very happy for Drew McIntyre. Congratulations on your WWE Championship win. You deserve it. I think everybody believes that this was the rightful winner. I can't think of one person that would think Brock Lesnar would have won this match. Kudos to Brock Lesnar for selling Drew McIntyre very, very well, making him really believe that Drew McIntyre conquered Brock Lesnar. He stayed down for a very long time while Drew McIntyre was doing the celebration. It was good selling. Congratulations on those two for a successful match. I think it was pretty successful just because of the winner. But also maybe a future rematch in which Drew McIntyre can beat him again. We'll see. That was WrestleMania, guys. Part 2 down. All of WrestleMania is finished now. The future of wrestling is a little bit undecided. Do we see the Raw? Do we see a SmackDown? Do we see WWE take a break? Because I think continuing to wrestle at this time is very, very dangerous on the health of these superstars. Maybe it's time that they take a break like all other shows are. A lot of people are saying it's reckless. I agree that it was reckless to put WrestleMania on, but they had to go through with it, and these wrestlers voluntarily decided to run WrestleMania. It's not this, if any superstar within those matches decided to pull out, they probably would have got accepted, as Roman Reigns did. And it would have been fine. No harm would have went towards their career or whatsoever. But it's just that if they continue to do this voluntarily, someone could seriously get injured, or someone could seriously catch this virus at any given time. So, as careful as they are, sometimes these things just happen, and you can't. No amount of level of carefulness can save it. So hopefully WWE can follow suit and take a break, but we'll see what happens. The future of WWE is very undecided at this time, but we got to see WrestleMania, guys, and I think that's the most important thing. So again, let me know what your favorite match was throughout the entire night. Mine was The Undertaker and AJ Styles. I still think that was the best match of the night. Let me know what you guys think. I want to thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel for more WWE update videos. This is the Sports Code. Have a safe day or night wherever you are. Take care.